beautiful outside.
I've spent the whole morning just cleaning the house, getting ready for the trip before I start packing. Are you gonna help me pack?
Hi. Hi. Do you miss Dad? Do you miss him?
Today's the day. Today is the day that this girl goes to the UK. So I'm just gonna have my breakfast, some oatmeal, delish. And then I'm going to finish packing and then drive down. Sorry. I'm just so excited. I've been listening to like British pop, British rap all morning. So I'm just so pumped. I'm also so excited because obviously it's like my school, so I'll learn lots, but I also get to see my best friend and I'm like gonna cry about it. I'm so excited. I get to see my best friends and some of my best friends live in Europe, so it's really hard to see them. I am so excited. Oscar, Katrin, Jacob. If you guys are watching this, I love you. Love you. Mwah. Okay, I'm gonna have breakfast and then finish packing. How am I supposed to leave? It's gonna make me cry. Stop being so cuddly. So I was taking a red eye over to London because all the European or UK flights tend to be red eyes, which is nice because you should try to sleep on the plane. I did not sleep on the plane because I decided to have a ginormous Starbucks when we got to the airport. I did sleep for a couple of hours, but again, this matcha latte kept me up for longer than I intended to, but we did some duty-free shopping when we got there. Didn't get anything because I figured I'll be coming back and I'll probably want to get things on the way back. And secondly, I wanted to make sure I had space in my suitcase for when I do come back. So I just browsed around duty free, went back to the gate and got a snack. Then I did the Pottermore Harry Potter house quiz because that felt necessary before going to the UK. I found out I was Slytherin, but at least I had a 7.5-hour flight to give me some time to reflect on that. Then we arrived in London. We took a black cab to our hotel. After, of course, we took the train from London Heathrow Airport to Paddington Station, which was a nice way to kind of see the city a little bit. But that being said, I would have just gotten an Uber next time because the train was actually pretty expensive, but the drive was so scenic. So I'm so happy that we ended up getting a cab anyways. The architecture in London was so impressive, and that makes sense. I mean, a lot of the things there are very royal and regal. So of course the architecture also matched that. So we got to the other house in South Kensington. That was the hotel that we stayed in. It was so beautifully decorated, so bougie, and in the heart of one of my favorite places, honestly, in London that I visited. The hotel room was really dark and cozy, and again, beautifully decorated. When we got outside, we saw the first double-decker bus, and we also saw the telephone booth across the street, and I had to take a picture. If you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen a bunch of pictures at that telephone booth. I just love both the architecture and the number of bookstores that we came across in the UK. My mom suggested we go to Harrods, and I'm so glad she suggested it because just look at some of these shots. So after we went to Harrods, we got a drink at Lena Stores, and then I got some gelato because it looked so good. I got the mango flavor as well as the strawberry, and they were both dairy free, which was awesome. And then we headed to bed because we were still so jet lagged. Day 2, we went to Shakespeare's Globe and the Swan for afternoon tea. This was my first afternoon tea arriving in the UK, and it's honestly my favorite one looking back on the afternoon teas that I did do. This had my heart. The Swan was so beautiful. So we woke up, we went walking towards Shakespeare's Globe, and it was so windy. Pro tip, if you go to London, you have to bring an umbrella because it is going to rain when you're there. No doubt about it. There were so many artists and painters along the water near the Thames, and seeing Shakespeare's Globe in person was so cool. This building was built, I believe, 28 years ago. So this one is actually a reconstruction of Shakespeare's Globe. We went into the museum inside the Globe before we went to our afternoon tea since we arrived a little bit early, and we ended up actually booking a walking tour. We actually couldn't record a lot, but when we did get into the Globe, I will show you some clips later of the actual Globe Theatre on the inside because the actors were on a break, so we were allowed to film. Seeing all the miniature replications of what the city used to look like was so interesting. I was taken away by how much people valued arts back then. I think it's so cool to visit things like this when you're on vacation or you're traveling because it just kind of re-inspires you and freshens up your perspective on arts, because especially as an artist, as a professional ballerina, sometimes we can just get so monotonous about what we do, but truly it's inspiring and it's exciting. And again, seeing how much they value the arts then was really, really cool and refreshing and inspiring. And if you're not into the arts, at least you can learn some history. So I highly recommend going to the Globe if you ever go to London, England. Then we finally went to the Swan. The afternoon tea at the Swan was so beautiful. Look at that view. Are you kidding? And the desserts were so good. It was a Romeo and Juliet inspired afternoon tea. So once again, here's the footage of Shakespeare's Globe on the inside. I could record because the actors were on a break, so they gave us permission to record, which never usually happens. Then we walked around the city. We were going to go to the Freed of London shop, but they closed at 4:30, so we ended up actually going into Piccadilly Circus and accidentally ended up in Pride. You can hear the roaring crowd behind. We got dinner at Lena's Stores and the pasta there was so good. We went there for drinks the night before and we saw people's pasta, but we were really full from our lunch at Harrods, so we didn't get the food the first day, but the second day we definitely got the pasta. It was so good. Then I went for a late night swim at the hotel. It was so relaxing, so nice to end my Saturday night, I believe, like this, because then the following day we did another afternoon tea. This time the afternoon tea was at the Ritz. After our afternoon tea at the Ritz, we went to Fortnum and Mason and did a little bit of shopping. There were so many nice things for tea, so if you're a tea fanatic like I am, this is definitely one of the best places to check out in London if you go, because there's just so many options and it is definitely way more pricey, but also the historical things there are really cool. And if you like tea, perfume, and just general home stuff, this is a really cool place to visit. They, again, also have some historical things there. Then it started pouring rain, which I was honestly happy about because I hadn't seen too much heavy rain since I got there, and I needed a view like this because being in London, this is the kind of weather you expect. So this is the only working polyphon in the world, and you just have to watch it to understand it. It's really, really cool. Basically, the girl who was working there told me that someone has to come in every once in a while to change the discs, and it's like a giant music box. That was everything we got up to on the weekend leading up to my intensive study period at the Royal Academy of Dance in my program, which is the Professional Dancers Graduate Teaching Diploma. I had so much fun during these 2 weeks with these incredible people, and I'll definitely share with you guys in the next vlog some of the things that I got up to. So stay tuned for part 2, and also stay tuned until the end of this video because I share some clips ahead of what is to come in the next episode of the London vlogs.